Hey there, this is Ophelia Mellons.
This is Bulldog.
Coming up in just a couple minutes here, we got the Emerald City Roller Girls going up head-to-head against the Humboldt Roller Derby Redwood Rollers. Currently, Emerald City ranked 104 and Humboldt Roller Derby 98. Although Flat Track Stats says this game heavily weighted towards Emerald City. Both teams have their work cut out for themselves. Recently at the WWS and Spudtown respectively, they beat Cherry City by similar margins, so pretty similar there. And the last time these two teams played was in 2012 here at Emerald City, and that was a 2-point win by Humboldt Roller Derby. As we get started here, fire away the Emerald City Roller Girls roster for today. Number 10, Genesis O'Sint. Number 11, To Natural. 12, Aerial Strike. 123, Psychotic Rage. 1771, Gemini. 222, Spunky Bruiser. 262, Wonder Dread. 270, Lady Bullseye. 51, Coop. Number 7, Ogden. 828, Zonan the Barbarian. 83, Rex Havoc. 94, Red Ruckus. And 96, Jammer, Kelly Boylan. On the Humboldt Roller Derby side, we have number 14, Villain Thomas, longtime veteran of Humboldt. 26, Treyu. 365, Sugar Rush. 37, Catastrophe. Number 4, Ferocious Dimples. 44, Rotten to the Core. 50cc Poison Candy. Number 61 is Pressure Cooker. Number 7, also longtime veteran, Rusty Machete. 83, Gunslinging Glory. 8 Cylinders, Jewel Injection. 91, Ole Chole. Number 911, Somebody. And number 72, Jennifer McMahon. Looks like the officials are getting ready here. Emerald City taking the back line on the jammer line there, rear wall. And of course, if anyone at home is having any problems getting to the live stream, you can tell your friends to go directly to the bigotournament.com, and that might work better for you than directly through WFTDA.tv. All right, going up. It's number 123, Psychotic Rage.
But Ole Chole, number 91, jamming for Humboldt, gets through the back very quickly and claims lead jammer. Psychotic Rage gets around Villain Thomas and Jewel Injection to complete her initial pass. But Ole Chole squeezes up the outside, runs into Amber Coop, number 51, calls off the jam and does get all 4 points. Psychotic Rage not coming in time.
Solid real wall by Emerald City there, but as you saw, she was able to sneak through on the outside, tiptoed up that line, was able to pull 4 for Humboldt Roller Derby.
Number 10 is Genesis O'Sint. Number 11 is To Natural. Number 12 is Aerial Strike.
That looks like Pressure Cooker, number 61, jamming for Humboldt. And is that Wonder Dread? 262?
Wonder Dread, 270.
There you go.
Lady Bullseye, 51 is Coop. 7 is
So 4-on-3 pack advantage for Emerald City.
83 is Rex Havoc.
One skater in the penalty box, that's Villain Thomas for Humboldt. Pressure Cooker at the back behind a 4-wall. Aerial Ogden guarding the inside. Rex Havoc guarding the outside. Pressure Cooker getting nowhere. Wonder Dread breaks free for lead jammer. And looks like Jennifer McMahon heading to the penalty box as well. So only 2 blockers left for Humboldt for the time being. Pressure Cooker getting out of the back ahead of Wonder Dread. So Wonder Dread's not going to get that jammer lap point, but she does get all the way through the pack and picks up all 4. So 4-4 now.
That's right, tit for tat. Emerald again choosing the rear wall, managing to keep it slow. Nice offensive punch by Genesis O'Sint, freeing up their jammer for lead. Nice job by Emerald City, and again, starting to look like a really solid matchup.
Kelly Boylan jamming for Emerald City against 911 Somebody. It's always a slightly confusing name to call. Somebody is lead jammer. We know that for sure. No, not yet, though. She's stuck behind a 4-wall of Emerald City blockers. It's only 3 blockers for Humboldt. Kelly Boylan now one-on-one with Rusty Machete. Rusty Machete put up a good fight, but Kelly Boylan able to break out and claims lead. There goes 911 somebody, the jammer for Humboldt. She's completed her initial pass, but half a lap behind Kelly Boylan. Villain Thomas makes contact, but doesn't get Kelly Boylan out of bounds. And it looks like only 4 points. The referee initially signaled 5, but corrected himself. Only 4 for Emerald City.
Nice spin by Kelly Boylan on the outside to earn that last point. She maintained her balance. I think it surprised her a little bit. Was able to successfully call that one off. We have a game of nickel and diming here, getting a feel for each other because it's been a few years since these teams have matched up, playing nice and conservative.
Humboldt fielding Gunslinging Glory for as jammer against Psychotic Rage, jamming for the second time for Emerald City. Spins around Rusty Machete, but somehow Rusty Machete stays in front, but can't hang on. Psychotic Rage getting out for lead jammer. I believe that is 3-1 for lead jammers for Emerald City so far. Psychotic Rage slams her hip into Rusty Machete, and the referee's gonna call back block. It's gonna be our first power jam, Gunslinging Glory, now the only jammer on the track. Ariel Ogden gets a glancing blow in with her hip, but on Gunslinging Glory gets up to the front. Genesis of Sin and Amber Coop hanging on. Now Ariel Ogden gets back in front, forcing Gunslinging Glory out of bounds. But Ariel Ogden gets a penalty. Was that an out-of-play penalty?
Yes, it was, and now she's going to be the second blocker in the box. They got a full sin bin right now.
But we've got Psychotic Rage standing in the box, so this power jam won't last much longer. But Gunslinging Glory gets through, only gets a 4 out of 5 potential points. No, referee corrected himself. It was a grand slam. Here comes another scoring pass, slams the shoulder into Genesis of Sin, but goes out of bounds. Gunslinging Glory, the jammer for Humboldt, comes back around and gets in. Only gets 4 out of a. Was that a potential 5? I'm not sure if Psychotic Rage got out of the penalty box or not. But regardless, Psychotic Rage back in action. Trying to get past Rusty Machete and Poison Candy gets his shoulder in, but Psychotic Rage able to get through and completes the pass. A grand slam for Emerald City. That's going to match one of the grand slams scored by Gunslinging Glory. Actually, the grand slam. She got a 4-point pass on the second one, but this time another grand slam. Emerald City is going to come out on top in this jam in spite of giving up a power jam.
Really impressive work by Psychotic Rage here. Not only did she spin to the inside, to the unnatural way, to earn lead jammer to start that off, but coming back on the track, I mean, she had that back block call. She knew what she did. She went straight to the box and came back in with a fire in her belly, put a few more points up for Emerald, putting them back in the lead, 18-17, about 24.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
And our score early, it's a 1 point.
Emerald City hanging on to a 1-point lead. Humboldt did win the jam, but Emerald City was able to pull out the lead at the end of the jam. There goes Wonder Dread jamming for Emerald City. They've got lead jammer and a bit of a streak. I believe Humboldt's only gotten lead jammer 1 time in the entire half so far. Wonder Dread getting through clean for a grand slam. Atreyu, number 26, the jammer for Humboldt, still trying to get through. Tries to follow Wonder Dread, but gets blocked by her own skater, Jennifer McMahon. Didn't even notice that Atreyu was coming up behind. So that was a little bit of a self-inflicted wound by Humboldt. Here comes Wonder Dread coming through, just zips right by Catastrophe and Ferocious Dimples, barely touching her opponents, getting another grand slam. Wonder Dread comes in again, dodges a shoulder from Catastrophe, but gets caught by Jennifer McMahon and Ferocious Dimples, but fights her way through. Gets all 4 points. Atreyu did complete her initial pass, but does not score any points in this jam.
It's a solid jam by Emerald City with Aerial Strike, Gemini, and Lady Bullseye just really stuffing that Humboldt jammer. Definitely noticing the outside pack refs are a little sensitive on those multiplayer penalties. Both teams are racking those up, so that's something that can be worked on moving forward in this game. Great jam for Emerald City, taking us 37-17. And we do have a Humboldt timeout. trying to regroup here early in the game. Still 23 minutes remaining in the first half. Just trying to regroup, recycle, get back on the track.
Sponsors and made the trip all the way up here from Eureka, California, just to support us. Humboldt loves you. Happy dog. Everyone loves a happy dog.
So Humboldt taking a little time to regroup. They came on strong in the first couple of jams, but Emerald City quickly capitalizing on getting lead jammer status and earning some points, and more importantly, preventing Humboldt from scoring. So most of their points right now scored in a single power jam that Emerald City gave up.
Yes, and Emerald City's feeling really good about their game. Yesterday they had a strong win against Pikes Peak. They're feeling really good. They figured out how to host a tournament and play good derby at the same time.
Well, Kelly Boylan jamming for Emerald City, going back and forth, looking for them. Briefly, there was a wide open center line, and Kelly Boylan takes full advantage, gets past Castrophe and Jennifer McMahon. Once again, Emerald City getting lead jammer. So we've got Ole Chole jamming for Humboldt, she's hot on the heels of Kelly Boylan. She may actually overtake her. She may actually catch up to Kelly Boylan on this scoring basket. She's getting helped out by her teammates too. The Humboldt blockers speeding up the pack. Kelly Boylan finally calling off the jam. She only gets 1 point. So good job on the Humboldt pack.
Yeah, super fast pack, as you saw. They really took advantage of Ole Chole's speed. That's obviously a skill set that she's got in her pocket to use at any time.
Absolutely. They clearly trust their team captain, Ole Chole. A lot of confidence in that skater. But now we've got Pressure Cooker number 61 jamming for Humboldt. And it's going to be a 4-on-2 pack advantage for Humboldt. So Pressure Cooker with the advantage. Psychotic Rage number 1, 2, 3 jamming for Emerald City. Gets up to the front, gets past Rotten Tulacor, and Poison Candy can't stop her. And once again, Emerald City continues the streak of lead jammer. And bad news for Humboldt. Number 61 Pressure Cooker, the jammer, going to the penalty box. So Emerald City in the white jerseys get a lead jammer, but Psychotic Rage calling off the jam. She's going to settle for 1 grand slam in that power jam. And we're going to reset.
Putting Emerald City in an interesting position here going into Jam 8 of this first half. They do have a power jam for them, but they're down to 2 blockers. Be interesting to see how they go about this.
So we'll still be in a power jam. However, Emerald City has 2 blockers in the penalty box. That's Rex Havoc and Ariel Ogden. But Ariel Ogden returning in right off the first whistle, and Rex Havoc falling right behind. So Wonder Dread, the jammer for Emerald City, gets out for lead jammer in spite of a heavy disadvantage in the pack. Now she runs into the pack, but immediately slams into Rusty Machete. Villain Thomas working well together, but Villain Thomas has to drop back the bridge. Rusty Machete, though, taking her down with a hip check, but she doesn't go out of bounds. She just scrambles to her feet, and Rusty Machete getting an out of play penalty. That's going to drop Humboldt down to 3 blockers. But Pressure Cooker, number 61 of Humboldt, the jammer, back in action. So no more power jam for Emerald City. But Wonder Dread on another scoring basket, gets forced out of bounds, recycled back to the jammer line by Villain Thomas. Pressure Cooker making short work of the initial pass, but no points yet for Humboldt. And there goes Wonder Dread calling off the jam from her knees. But no, she gets a cutting the track penalty, so it's going to be a full 2-minute jam. And now it's a power jam for Humboldt. So Pressure Cooker still in action. To Natural, number 11, puts up a fierce defense, but Pressure Cooker finally fights her way past a grand slam for Humboldt. That's their first score in about 3 jams. Now Pressure Cooker on her second scoring pass, dodges a hip check from Rex Havoc, counter checks a shoulder from T Natural, and gets a second grand slam for Humboldt. 10 points so far, brings them to 25 points, still trailing by 23. And of course, keep in mind that Wonder Dread was on a scoring pass, may have a couple of extra points. But there goes Pressure Cooker getting walled up by a double team of Natural and Ariel Ogden. Ariel Ogden hanging on, but runs out of room. And there's Grand Slam number 3. But here comes Wonder Dread back in action. She'll be completing a scoring pass she was on before she got that cutting the track penalty. And there it is. She gets a Grand Slam. She was eligible for that jammer point.
Solid jamming by Pressure Cooker, but excuse me for saying at the end of that jam, she looked done. Nice blocking by, as you mentioned, Rusty Machete and Villain Thomas. They are the Humboldt original gangsters. They block well together. They've been doing it for years. And sweet offense by Poison Candy coming in there with a punch to move that pack forward, allowing Pressure Cooker to just push them out of play, rack up those points. They're still down. Emerald winning 53-34, a little over 18 and a half minutes left in the first half.
Kelly Boylan back on the jammer line for Emerald City. We got, is that somebody? Somebody is the jammer for Humboldt, but she is surrounded by Emerald City blockers. Now the Humboldt blockers moving back to try and break it up. But Amber Coop and Gemini holding the line, but somebody comes around the inside. Gemini catches her at the front, keeping somebody, number 911, the jammer for Humboldt, in the pack on her initial pass. Kelly Boylan already has one grand slam in this jam and comes around again, gets picked up by Ferocious Dimples and Catastrophe, and on the inside, Jennifer McMahon has to give up at the end of the engagement zone, and another grand slam for Emerald City. Somebody, number 911, the jammer for Humboldt in the black jersey, still on her initial pass. Kelly Boylan on her third scoring pass, this time running into heavy traffic. Jennifer McMahon with a shoulder drives her out of bounds on the inside. She has to recycle. The Humboldt jammer in the black jersey, somebody, number 911, still struggling, absolutely getting shut down by this Schizophrenics defense. Kelly Boylan coming around, hits Ferocious Dimples, gets around Jewel Injection, and completes yet another scoring pass. Emerald City on a tear. Big jam for the ladies in white. And somebody not getting anywhere. The triple team of Amber, Coop, Gemini, and Lady Bullseye are completely shutting down Humboldt, now knocking her to her knees. She gets a little help from Jewel Injection and Catastrophe, but those are the only blockers left for Humboldt. Humboldt picked up a couple of penalties. Jennifer McMahon returning to play, but time is running out in this jam. Even if somebody gets out, she's not going to have time to get around and put any points on the board. So a huge jam for Emerald City. Yeah,
nice jamming by Boylan, but she was really just skating laps. The story of that jam, I think, was Gemini and Coop. Really intense defense. Anytime they took the jammer out, they were sitting right in front of her, gave her no room to breathe. It's really demoralizing. It's like my favorite thing to do ever. Emerald City recycling, fantastic. Great jam. That's going to take our score 72-34. 16 minutes remaining. It looks like we got a team timeout, an official timeout rather. Yeah. Just saying hey.
But Humboldt tried everything they could think of to get their jammer through. They let their jammer try to get through on her own, which we see a lot in this in the game. And they also came back and tried to break it up, tried to bust walls open. Nothing worked. Absolutely nothing worked. There we go. A lot of penalties, though. We got to have a 2-on-1 pack right at this moment. Ariel Ogden jamming for Emerald City, and she played a little defensive jamming briefly. Gunslinging Glory, the jammer for Humboldt, saw daylight, but Ogden got out ahead of her and dropped back. However, Gunslinging Glory was able to shake off the Emerald City defense. I think Amber Coop was the lone blocker for Emerald City. So now she's caught up. That's Gunslinging Glory. She's caught up with Ariel Ogden, but Ariel Ogden's going to call it off. No points for Humboldt.
Pattern I'm seeing in this game is that the pack is expanding and coming back together. The refs have their work cut out for them to get that pack defined. How Coop was able to single-handedly help the Emerald Jammer get out was with a sprint start, gets that pack moving, keep the other guys busy, and Emerald gets out, puts a few more points up.
So this game so far, only 15 minutes into the game, but so far going about it as expected. Emerald City, the heavy favorites in the game. Atreyu, number 26, jamming for Humboldt, getting forced to the edge, and then finally cleared out by Rex Havoc, who falls down as well. but instantly Zonan the Barbarian and Rex Havoc reform their 2-wall. And there goes Wonder Dread, the jammer. She's lead, and now on a scoring pass, gets a glancing blow with a hip check. Just barely manages to stay in bounds, but gets all 4. Atreyu has completed her initial pass. But as expected, Wonder Dread calling off the jam, and again, holding Humboldt scoreless.
Wonder Dread, great track awareness, taking a look at the box, telling her blockers, speed it up, you got a couple more seconds to burn, and they're able to clear their box, and now they're at a 4-3 pack advantage as a result.
So the penalty box cleared out a little bit. We had some heavy penalties in the last couple of jams, though.
As is the history of these two teams. They take turns traveling to Humboldt, coming up to Eugene, and they're very sisterly leagues, but they like to roughhouse.
Now we've got Psychotic Rage number 1, 2, 3 jamming for Emerald City in the white jersey against Ole Chole 91. Moves up the inside, gets around Lady Bullseye, Spunky Bruiser, and Amber Coop to get lead jammer for Humboldt. First time in I don't know how many jams. I think since the second jam is the only time they have gotten lead. And now attempted leap across the infield, across the apex, truly. Falls down, and she does get all 4 points. She landed it in bounds, so she actually could have gotten up and started skating, couldn't she?
Yeah, but why?
Well, yeah.
Humboldt so far in this first half of play only able to pick up a couple of lead jammer statuses, and those are both going to Ole Chole. She's fun to watch. Got a timeout for green and white. Emerald City taking the time to adjust, take a breath. They seem to be employing sort of high rotation, medium rotation, and low rotation skaters. You got people like Rex Havoc and Coop and Lady Bullseye, Gemini, high rotation. Rex Havoc, of course, is also the tournament director for the Big O, so she's wearing a lot of hats this weekend, and there's nothing she loves more than throwing off that director hat, coming in and playing the best game of derby she can muster up.
And a very intense skater, too. You can always just look on her face. She is 100% focused on the game. And maybe a little bit of mayhem as well.
Of Emerald City's 76 points, Wonder Dread has already put up 39 of those. Great game so far for Wonder Dread.
Wonder Dread at the front, gets around Catastrophe, and it is lead jammer for Emerald City. Pressure cooker number 61 counter checks his shoulder from Ariel Ogden, dodges past to Natural, and completes her initial pass. Here comes Wonder Dread in control of the clock on a first scoring pass. Breaks through easily, right in between Julian Jackson and Jennifer McMahon, calling off the jam. Hit it and quit it. 4-0. Yeah,
pretty default derby there, just putting it up the nickel and dime. Really able to recognize when they can take advantage of those opportunities, and otherwise keep your players on the track, get your points, and call it off. Emerald now got Rex Havoc in the box, so we're at a 4-3 pack advantage for Humboldt.
So somebody, number 911, jamming again for Humboldt. Obviously hoping she'll do a little bit better than last time. Last time she got completely shut down, but Kelly Boylan getting past Dylan Thomas and Rotten Tula Core and his lead.
You know, Kelly Boylan now, this is her fourth lead jammer status. She's at 100% for today.
Indeed, but somebody getting up to the front, but once again, Amber Coop and Gemini shutting her down. Amber Coop was the only line of defense. Somebody just had to get past her, but Amber Coop was able to hold her in, and Gemini came up and then once again shut down somebody. But there she goes, found an opening. I think there was some distraction in order to watch Kelly Boylan and help her through. She's on a scoring pass, the jammer for Emerald City, but somebody was able to get out of the pack, which is a lot better than the last time. So
yeah,
things are looking
absolutely.
up.
Putting that pressure on her and get her to call off that jam. She's going to hold that one down to 4 points. Emerald City again looking real good. This is the best I've seen them in years. Really great at recycling. Their bridging is good. More importantly, the difference between Humboldt and Emerald, Emerald's got real depth to their walls. They're always got that kickstand. They're real versatile. Humboldt, you're going to see more 4 walls with their skates pointing forward.
Ariel Ogden jamming, and she's up to the front, 3 wall in front. Rusty Machete, Poison Candy, and Rotten Tula Core. Gunslinging Glory trying to get past, but runs into Ariel Ogden. So jammer on jammer, and Gunslinging Glory back at the rear of the pack. Ariel Ogden breaking free and gets lead jammer. Gunslinging Glory forced out of bounds. She's going to have to recycle almost to the top of turn 4 as Ariel Ogden, the jammer for Emerald City, gets in. Runs into Rusty Machete. The Rusty Machete, whiffs twice. She moves in. Ariel Ogden, she thought she was anticipating Ariel Ogden's move to the center, but then she recovered quickly, but whiffed with that check. Ariel Ogden picking up the grand slam, and now on her second one, once again, Rusty Machete and Villain Thomas, double team. Watch that duo right there. Villain Thomas and Rusty Machete. They're 2 of the best blockers I've seen on Humboldt, and they also really work together as a team as well as individually. But so far, Ariel Ogden able to get through twice in spite of a very fierce and tenacious defense from Humboldt. Gunslinging Glory getting nowhere. And now going, while she's getting somewhere, now going to the penalty box. A block with the head. That means we're on a power jam.
That's right. So Ogden pushing forward again. Rusty Machete takes her out in the front. Ogden stays in bounds and goes around for another opportunity. Let's see what Emerald does with their offense.
That's right, but the Rusty Machete and Villain Thomas always make the jammer pay a toll. They don't always stop the jammer, but they always make her pay a price to get through. Now Poison Candy missing with the shoulder, can't get into position in time. Rusty Machete gets a glancing blow, but Ariel Ogden breaks through anyway. This is another big jam for Emerald City. She got most of those points the hard way though, while Gunslinging Glory was still on the track.
Yeah, that's right. One thing I can notice with the style of Humboldt's play is the new rule set is kind to them. Someone like Villain Thomas, she's going to come in with a low sweeping booty block up in the gut and a little, they have some directional clockwise tendencies, but I think she's right on the border. The refs are calling a good game so far.
Psychotic Rage, number 123, jamming against Atreyu, number 26 for Humboldt. Humboldt in the black jerseys, Emerald City in the white. Psychotic Rage gets around the outside of Catastrophe, who goes to the penalty box. So Humboldt down to 3 blockers. And, more bad news. That is Gunslinging Glory in the penalty box as jammer. Did I say Atreyu? I meant Gunslinging Glory. Did I go crazy?
No, they're releasing her from the box now anyway.
It's Gunslinging
They're just
Glory.
messing with you.
It must have been that funny Kool-Aid that I was given at the beginning of the game. But right now, Psychotic Rage on a power jam. Great defense from Humboldt. We've got Jewel Injection, Catastrophe, Ferocious Dimples, and Jennifer McMahon holding back Psychotic Rage, and they shut down the power jam. That great penalty kill by Humboldt. Gunslinging Glory gets into the pack, but she is getting stopped in her track, barely able to move, make any progress at all. Rex Havoc comes across, Red Ruckus, number 94, comes across with a hip check, forcing Gunslinging Glory out of bounds, and that's the end of the jam.
Gunslinging Glory really dishing it out, giving it everything she's got, push, 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 but those Emerald blockers have the size advantage on the track today. And Humboldt also obviously doing a great job of neutralizing that power jam, as they did a couple jams ago. Emerald's getting most of their points when the other jammer's on the track.
One blocker from each team in the box, so 3-on-3 in the pack. And an official timeout.
On behalf of the Big O, a big thank you to the RollerCon team and Ivana as Bacon for supporting the Big O by donating 2 MVP passes. So big shout out to Ivana for her kindness in making this event happen. I also remind you to join Vendor Alley. There's a lot of great stuff over there.
That's Amber Coop of Emerald City in the penalty box, and Jennifer McMahon, number 72 of Humboldt, in the penalty box for her team.
As well as Green Monster.
Looks like Wonder Dread will be jamming next. She's got 100% lead jammer status so far today, and 43 points in 5 jams for Emerald City. So really successful day for her.
And there's a special message on
But a huge amount of that credit goes to the blockers. They have been just doing such a fantastic job of shutting down Humboldt's offense.
Overall sense of where Emerald City is at right now, I feel like everybody's on the same page. There's a plan, and they're actually executing it, and people are knowing where to be. They're communicating. If you notice during their power jams, they go 2 on the inside, 2 on the out. They're making eye contact. They're making all these nonverbal indicators to each other, and it's quite effective.
Ole Chole, number 91, jamming for Humboldt in the black jerseys. Moving on the outside, but gets knocked down and out of bounds by Rex Havoc. Wonder Dread, number 262, in the white jersey, jamming for Emerald City. Squeezes past Jewel Injection, number 8 of Humboldt, and gets out for lead jammer. But there goes that speed demon, Ole Chole, getting weighed down and pumping those legs. She's closing the distance on Wonder Dread. Already in 1 lap, has made up almost a quarter lap. Both of them almost neck and neck as they enter into the pack, but Lady Bullseye comes across with a shoulder that knocks down Ole Chole. But 3 points for Emerald City.
Score 42.
And 2 points for Humboldt.
Yeah, nice. Lady Bullseye, definitely an up-and-comer. She's going to be building up her arsenal and is going to be a key blocker for Emerald City in the next season.
But that was a fantastic effort by Ole Chole, closing that gap. She was very close to half a lap behind Wonder Dread when she got out of the pack and just made up so much distance. Now Ariel Ogden jamming for Emerald City, stuck behind a 3-wall. Rusty Machete, Villain Thomas, and Rotten Tula Core. Poison Candy dropping back to bridge. But the Humboldt jammer, Pressure Cooker, number 61, at the back of the pack. Slams into Lady Bullseye, but shakes it off and squeezes up the inside past Gemini to complete her initial pass. But half a lap behind Ariel Ogden, who has already clinched lead jammer once again for Emerald City. Now on a scoring pass, weaving her way past Villain Thomas and Rusty Machete. Rotten Tula Core can't make contact. Jam called off. 4 more for Emerald City.
That's right, just kind of nickel and diming in this case because Pressure Cooker got out. And she really got out because Emerald stopped containing and they just started hitting, and left that lane open for Pressure Cooker to sneak right on by and forcing Emerald City to call off that jam, limiting that to 4 points.
It looks like somebody is jammer for Humboldt. That never gets old. Somebody, number 911, jamming for Humboldt. Quickly up to the front. Genesis of Sin can't stop her. And the referee almost scored that jam. I think that was just a reflex of his fingers. But no, she is lead jammer for only the 3rd time for Humboldt. First 2 times by Ole Chole. But somebody hits the pack, calls off the jam immediately because I think she sensed that Wonder Dread was coming up behind her. And she does secure a positive differential, 1-0.
1-0 on that, and that was actually somebody's first lead jam status. I guess that's better than being anybody. That's anybody's game. I don't know who anybody is, but she's out there. It's really cool. Over here on turn 2, Rusty, who's blocking, jumped the apex. Genesis Osin hit her and forced Rusty to pivot around her, and she landed backwards and continued blocking. She definitely took the hard way, but she made it look so good.
Yeah, Rusty Machete, one of the best positional blockers on Humboldt, if not probably the best one that I've seen, and really resilient. She can take she can get battered, and she just kind of takes it and just rolls with it and just keeps on staying in front of whoever she's guarding. If she doesn't want you to get past, you're going to have to work real hard to do it.
This ain't her first rodeo.
That's right. But once again, empty penalty box, something we're getting more and more used to seeing with only 30-second penalties. And that is the actual Atreyu, number 26, in the Jammer Star for Humboldt at the moment. And again, Kelly Boylan jamming for Emerald City.
So far, Boylan has put 34 points up in her 4 jams for Emerald City, and she's at 100% lead jammer status, 4 for 4. Let's see what she can do here.
Now facing a 4 cluster. It's not so much a wall as a block. With Rusty Machete making the last contact, Kelly Boylan getting lead jammer relatively easy. Atreyu moving up the outside, gets picked up by Amber Coop, but dodges to the inside. Red Ruckus can't keep her in. And Atreyu has completed her initial pass, but Kelly Boylan on a scoring pass, now one-on-one with Rusty Machete after dusting off the rear guard, gets forced out of bounds by Rusty Machete, but calls it off. Settles for 3.
It's going to take our score 124 to 43, just over 3 minutes remaining in this first half. As I mentioned in the pregame, Flat Track Stats definitely gave this game heavily expected for Emerald City to win, despite the WFTDA rankings putting Humboldt up, about 6 spots ahead of Emerald. So this is going to be a big jump for Emerald this weekend if they keep it up.
And a very dynamic skater team captain, Ole Chole, number 91, in the black jersey, dodges under Genesis of Sin, but gets taken down by Tanatural. Rex Havoc gets in front of her, and that buys time for Wonder Dread to get around the outside, but she does not get lead jammer. Yeah, I guess what happened there?
Ole Chole called that off. She got lead real quick. Got sucked back into the pack from Natural, of course. There's a little bit of a mix-up down here in turn 2. She just wanted to call it a wash, called that off, and let's get reset. It's a good opportunity, as a matter of fact, with Emerald City being down 2 blockers. So we have a 3-2 pack advantage for Humboldt.
But that means 3 lead jammer statuses for Ole Chole of Humboldt. 3 out of all of the 4 that they got. A pressure cooker walks past a fallen Amber Coop that gets caught by Lady Bullseye, driven out of bounds. Forearm penalty on Lady Bullseye that drops them down 1 blocker, and pressure cooker makes a fast acceleration around the outside, gets lead jammer. Only the 5th lead jammer for Humboldt. Psychotic Rage shouldering her way past Jennifer McMahon to complete her initial pass. Here's pressure cooker on a scoring pass, dodges past Gemini, who is taken out by Jennifer McMahon, completes the pass and calls it 4 points for Humboldt.
Humboldt definitely picking it up a little bit of a momentum shift. Just a little bit at a time, but they got lead jam the last 2 jams. And I was just noticing how much action there is in the pack while the jammers are, out making their laps. That may be a contributing factor to how many skaters are finding their time in the penalty box.
Wonder Dread back on the jammer line for Emerald City. Somebody, number 911, gets a lucky break. Genesis of Sin stumbles, and that leaves a wide open inside lane. Somebody gets lead jammer for the 2nd time for that skater, the 6th time for Humboldt. But Wonder Dread getting out of the pack quickly too. Half a lap behind, but somebody tiptoes around the inside lane and calls off the jam.
Should be the full 4 points awarded. It looks like she just kind of casually stepped over the apex. They may be discussing whether that was a cut or what the points awarded are. Yes, and they do call it a cut track. I heard the fans hemming and hawing about it, so that does make sense. That's an unfortunate turn of events for Humboldt. This was their 3rd lead jam in a row.
And that also means she gets no points for that scoring pass.
You know things. You know things.
Staff and officials, they are here for you, so let's make them feel
True story.
welcome.
We still have an official timeout coming on. I think Emerald City seems to be talking to her. And it's Amber Coop, team captain for Emerald City.
It's super affordable too. The volunteers this year working for half the usual rate, which is amazing. If you get a chance to check out Pretty Little Tragic, one of the great vendors here at the Big O, and also Rydell They make skates. Another good news.
Okay, so that was a team captain and the bench coach for Emerald City talking to the head referee. Now it is Humboldt straightening out some things as well. Now it looks like it is a team timeout called by Emerald. Well,
Texas will be playing
maybe some mixed signals from the jam timer.
later on track 1. That might be worth watching, I'm just saying.
Now, this may have been an official review, so listen in.
I believe that was an official review, so it was not a team timeout.
So that would be an official review for, I'm assuming, Emerald City.
Yeah.
The gesture was towards the Emerald City bench.
Who knows?
But unfortunately, there were some technical issues with the microphone. We're not going to be able to tell you at the moment what happened. We will get that information to you as soon as we have it. However, Wonder Dread comes in and gets a big shoulder right to the sternum from Poison Candy, but Poison Candy screened out by Amber Coop. And now Wonder Dread weaving her way through the rest of the remaining defense of Humboldt. That was Villain Thomas and Poison Candy gets the grand slam. Now comes in again, Wonder Dread leaning into Villain Thomas. And Villain Thomas runs out of room and has to give up the ghost, has to give up the free pass. Somebody coming back in as jammer for Humboldt from the penalty box on her initial pass. Gets squeezed to the inside by Amber Coop, moves to the outside, but Zona and the Barbarian is there. Wonder Dread forced out of bounds by Villain Thomas and opts to call off the jam. She will get 4 more points on that last pass.
What's pretty cool is the jammer was pushing up against the Emerald City. They had a train of like 3 blockers hanging on to each other. There's so much depth to that wall. If she beat one, someone else was there. And as is the story for Emerald City, their defense stuffing Redwood Rollers going into the half. Emerald City 138 to Redwood Rollers 47. We'll be back in about 8 minutes here with more in the second half of the Big O tournament. All right, coming back at you. This is Ophelia Mellons with my BFF Bulldog. He's rocking out. Bringing you the second half of Emerald City Roller Girls against the Humboldt Redwood Rollers, scoring 138 to 47. The story of the first half, Emerald City getting the lead, Jammers 75% of the time to Humboldt's 25. And just really locking it down. Defense on the Emerald City side, really strong, great recycling. Wonder Dread leading Jammers in scoring with 58 points of Emerald's 138. Boylan and Ogden at 100% lead jammer each. On the Humboldt side, Pressure Cooker putting up a 3rd largest jam of 17 points in 1 jam. She's got 21 for the day. Oli Choli getting 60% of the lead jammer when she's out there. This, of course, Emerald City's second game of the Big O. They had played Pikes Peak yesterday afternoon and came out with a pretty large victory. So they're feeling good. We're going to start this game off with a clear penalty box. Bulldog, take it away.
You want me to start singing?
Yeah, stop singing and start talking about roller derby.
Like Master of Puppets on the overhead. I got to give her respect. But that is Wonder Dread getting out first for lead jammer. But Ole Chole, once again, pumping those legs, showing that speed that we saw in the first half. She gets out behind the end, forcing the call off by Wonder Dread. So once again, a tremendous speed from the team captain for Humboldt.
That's great because her speed forcing Emerald City to call off, goes 0-0 jam. Plenty of time obviously left in this game for Redwood Rollers to pump up that score. No lead is too much to overcome with 30 minutes to play.
That's right, a fresh slate, as it were, in the second half. Pressure Cooker, 61. against Psychotic Rage, number 1, 2, 3, and both teams opting to line up on the pivot line. But Pressure Cooker up front gets knocked down from a shoulder check from Natural and closed off by Lady Bullseye and Amber Coop. Last hit with the shoulder from Natural, and Pressure Cooker is through for lead jammer for Humboldt. Second jam in the second half. Now on a first scoring pass, Psychotic Rage, the jammer for Emerald City, knocked out of bounds by Jewel Injection. Has to recycle. Still on her initial pass. Pressure Cooker gets through, looks around, sees the Emerald City jammer still on her initial pass, and keeps on going. 1 Grand Slam for Humboldt so far. Second scoring pass, gets past to Natural, and just shoulders her way past Lady Bullseye to get a second Grand Slam, getting those the hard way. 10 points so far, and finally, Psychotic Rage getting frustrated for most of the first minute of the jam. And now Pressure Cooker opting to call off the jam. 1 more point for 11.
Solid jam for Pressure Cooker. That, of course, is her first lead jam of the day, putting up 10 in the natural way. Came around, met a fierce wall, Rex Havoc and friends. It's kind of is like a cartoon. She hit it and slid down, called off that jam, prevented Emerald from scoring. That's going to take us 58 to Emerald's 138.
The biggest jam of the game, if I'm not mistaken, so far for Humboldt. Somebody, number 911, jamming for Humboldt, but Wonder Dread breaking out around the outside gets lead jammer. Wonder Dread on her first scoring pass and finds a fairly clear center lane, gets through almost untouched. Grand Slam for Emerald City. Somebody, number 911, getting shut down. The jammer for Humboldt, now squeezing her way through, but gets there's a high block against number 911, Somebody, the jammer, but right behind her, Wonder Dread, racing her to the penalty box. So we're gonna have a very short swap out.
Which of course means we got a 2-minute jam. So much fun for everybody.
That's right. Wonder Dread losing lead status when she gets sent to the penalty box. But now continuing a scoring pass she was already on. Somebody still on her initial pass for Humboldt. Of course, Humboldt in the black jersey, Emerald City in the white and green jerseys. Wonder Dread completing the scoring pass and only getting 4 out of potential 5 on that pass. But comes around again, runs into traffic with the Humboldt defense, and is neck and neck, shoulder to shoulder with Somebody, the Humboldt jammer. But Somebody screens across, but gets forced out of bounds by Zona and the Barbarian, recycled back to the jammer line. Wonder Dread at the front of the pack, leaning into Jewel Injection. Villain Thomas looking on, but has to stay in position to bridge. And Jewel Injection can't hold Wonder Dread by herself. Another Grand Slam for Emerald City. Somebody finds an open inside lane, but gets caught just at the last second by Zona and the Barbarian and shouldered out of bounds. She's got to recycle and start all over again. Wonder Dread knocked out of bounds. A clockwise block against Villain Thomas, and time runs out.
That's right, full 2-minute jam on that one. Wonder Dread actually having a real hard time finishing one of her laps there. She was pushing on Jewel Injection, as you mentioned, Villain Thomas having to bridge and watch from far. That was a really sweaty bear hug that bogged them about 10-15 seconds, but Wonder Dread pushing through for Emerald City, taking the score 154 to 58. Still plenty of time left.
Kelly Boylan jamming for Emerald City. And Ole Chole up front, but getting battered. Triple team by Amber Coop, Lady Bullseye, and Aerial Strike getting some hits in there. But Ole Chole gets lead jammer. She's gotten the most lead jammers for Humboldt by far. He now has a half-lap lead over Kelly Boylan as the Emerald City jammer breaks out of the pack. Ole Chole is completely sandwiched by Emerald City blockers, but I saw her sticking her head out of the back of the pack and seeing Kelly Boylan coming up. She calls off the jam.
There's something special about Ole Chole with these Emerald City blockers. She's physical, she's moving around, and these Emerald blockers, as you mentioned, she's got the most lead jam percentage for anyone for Humboldt, excuse me. Emerald usually has a nice conservative wall, but when she's up at bat, they start swinging and hitting, and that's why she's getting out and she's being more effective.
Right now, Gunslinging Glory jamming for Humboldt against Aerial Ogden for Emerald City, but Jennifer McMahon and Jewel Injection both fall down. Aerial Ogden scrambles and hops over the fallen Humboldt blockers and gets lead jammer. But there goes Gunslinging Glory, shaking off the Emerald City defense. She breaks the back. Coming up, and Aerial Ogden gets it, cutting the track penalty. That means it's a power jam for Humboldt, scoring opportunity. Of course, Aerial Ogden was on a scoring pass, may have some points in her pocket, but wreaks havoc, drawing Gunslinging Glory all the way back around turn 1. And now Genesis of Sin catching Gunslinging Glory on the outside. And then once again, she returns to the turn 1, courtesy of Rex Havoc.
They're about to kill this power jam right here.
She is on a scoring pass, Gunslinging Glory of Humboldt. Psychotic Rage delivers a couple of hip checks, but Gunslinging Glory finally able to get through, gets the grand slam, but that was a penalty kill. Aerial Ogden out of the penalty box once again, so both jammers on the track, and they are both they're both on a scoring pass. Aerial Ogden is completing her previous scoring pass. Gunslinging Glory on scoring pass number 2. Aerial Ogden with a quick scramble to the outside, avoids Jennifer McMahon, completes the pass for 4, but Gunslinging Glory right behind her. So Gunslinging Glory racking up some serious points in this jam.
Yeah, you know, she really worked hard for that 5 points during that power jam. Emerald did a great job of neutralizing it, as you see her. Psychotic Rage being a utility player for Emerald City, pushing them out.
And another cutting the track on Aerial Ogden. That means it is another power jam for Gunslinging Glory, but time running short in the jam. Gunslinging Glory is not going to get through again. Settles for only 2 points, but Aerial Ogden also matched those 2 points on her last scoring pass before going to the box.
Yes, Emerald doing a great job with those force outs and those bridge backs. They managed to pull 2 of those off, pushing Gunslinging Glory out and recycling her in that last power jam, only picking up the 5. And when the opposing jammer returned to the track, Emerald still had 2 blockers in the box, so it was a good opportunity for Humboldt to pick up a couple more points, drawing a little bit closer now, 72 to 160.
And now Treyu, number 26, just squeezed, just barely. She got. There's a word for that. That's I'll remember it later. She got extruded through the pack. That's the word. That's the most fitting word for what just happened. But Treyu on a scoring pass gets clobbered by T Natural, who just, I don't know if I didn't see a signal. She may have just sent herself to the penalty box, but I'm sure there was a signal somewhere. Amber Coop also heading to the box for Emerald City, so only 2 blockers left on the track, but damage done. Treyu had to recycle and is continuing the scoring pass. She's going to only get 1 scoring pass on the power jam as Aerial Ogden, the jammer for Emerald City, back in action and forging ahead. Gets around Jennifer McMahon and Jewel Injection, completing the pass. Jennifer McMahon going to the box, but Treyu completes her pass, gets the grand slam, calls it off.
Treyu, a great asset for them. Throw her out there, her small stature, obviously being a huge benefit to Humboldt. That was her first time out getting the lead jammer and her first points of the game today. Maybe her fresh pair of legs will help them out in the second half.
Emerald City, 160 with 2018 in this second period.
Emerald again having some penalty trouble, and it does look like she sent herself to the box, as you mentioned earlier. They just brought her back to the track.
She probably heard the whistle for Amber Coop and just assumed it
took
was
a
for
minute
her.
to get to the box.
But look at that. Ole Chole out of the back, gets lead jammer again for Humboldt, making things happen for the ladies in black. But Kelly Boylan, I think she's broken Kelly Boylan's lead jammer streak, as a matter of fact. Twice
absolutely.
in a row, she got lead jammer over Kelly Boylan.
She's like a tiger. She skates through the pack like a men's speed skater, really pumping super low, hits that pack. Her feet are so wide, she takes up like 3/4 of the track and winds up and explodes through. Very physical jammer.
Explosive, that is the word. Ole Chole.
And you're getting some love right now from this mount. So
we got Pressure Cooker jamming for Humboldt. And Wonder Dread jamming for Emerald City, stuck behind the 3-wall. Rotten Tool of Core and Rusty Machete's going down in a pile, but Rusty Machete catches her coming out of the turn, but Wonder Dread just counter checks that shoulder and gets out of the back anyway. Lead jammer for Emerald City. Pressure Cooker scrambling to the inside of Amber Coop and completes her initial pass. But now Wonder Dread on the scoring pass for Emerald City. Rusty Machete making her pay the toll. Wonder Dread trying to stay in bounds but couldn't. And gets a cutting the track. A technical penalty that costs her lead jammer and gives yet another power jam to Humboldt. Pressure Cooker capitalizing, gets past Lady Bullseye and Amber Coop to get a grand slam. Coming around for scoring pass number 2. Lady Bullseye eyeballs her. Amber Coop doubles up with Lady Bullseye for a 2-wall. To Natural and Rex Havoc drop back to Bridge, but To Natural comes across with a shoulder check, but that breaks that breaks the pack. Rex Havoc was still back there, so it didn't destroy the pack, but that broke the bridge. Broke the bridge and allowed Pressure Cooker to keep going. Second grand slam. Third scoring pass now for Humboldt. Wonder Dread standing up in the penalty box, so this power jam won't last much longer, but Rex Havoc and Amber Coop holding back Pressure Cooker, but she dodges around Rex Havoc. Now Amber Coop can't keep her down. Pressure Cooker gets grand slam number 3, 15 points for Humboldt. Wonder Dread back in action for Emerald City, gets forced out of bounds, has to recycle almost back to turn 2. Looks like Rotten Tool of Core going to the penalty box. It's going to drop it down to 3-on-3 pack. Wonder Dread moving around. Rusty Machete just narrowly avoids the hips of Rusty Machete and completes the pass for 4.
All right, so check this out. Score gonna be what, 164 to 95. Still 17 minutes remaining in the second half. Humboldt already outperforming their entire first half game. They've already doubled their score since the first half, so this is looking really good. So in the second half so far, Humboldt is outscoring Emerald City. Humboldt's put 50 points out there, Emerald City having only put 26. So this is hopefully the beginning of a momentum shift for the Humboldt Redwood Rollers.
It's obviously not something Emerald City wants to see. But, a lot of that, I think, is just Ole Chole making things happen as a jammer, but also Emerald City giving up a lot of jammer penalties, which we didn't see so much in the first half.
Right, exactly. Got to clean it up. Yeah, Ogden having a little bit of trouble there as well.
I want to check out some of our vendors. How about skating?
But Humboldt's deep. So they're definitely kind of in it for the long haul, playing the full 60 minutes. Emerald needing to pull through. They had a fantastic first half. In their Pikes game yesterday, Emerald played their best derby in the second half, so maybe they'll bounce back here.
Rotten Tool of Core still in the penalty box, so a 4-on-3 packet advantage for Emerald City. Somebody, number 911, jamming for Humboldt against Kelly Boylan. Number 96, sorry, for Emerald City.
Stop making things up.
I make things up all the time. What are you talking about? Kelly Boylan driven to the rear of the pack. Now going against Jennifer McMahon and Ferocious Dimples. Ferocious Dimples drops back. Jennifer McMahon can't slow her down. Kelly Boylan completes her initial pass, but no lead jammer. Somebody, the number 911 in the penalty box, so it's a power jam. Kelly Boylan gets through with ease. Just has to ram into Ferocious Dimples, opens up the hole on her own, and gets the grand slam.
Yeah, that was an unlucky track cut penalty that was called. Of course, in the new rules set, if you spin around and you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out straddling the line, there's not going to be a track cut call, but her second skate did touch that track boundary. Hopefully not going to halt too much of that momentum shift for Humboldt, but Boylan already coming through for another scoring pass here.
Kelly Boylan gets picked up by all 4 of the Humboldt blockers. They're looking strong. Jewel Injection, Rotten Tool of Core, Ferocious Dimples, and Jennifer McMahon with a shoulder check, clearing out Kelly Boylan, but she calls off the jam from a seated position.
Yeah, Power Jams looking like they're the story of the second half here. In full game, Humboldt's put up 5 Power Jams, Emerald 6. But Humboldt looks like they're taking advantage of those Power Jams a lot better than Emerald, having put 49 points up during those 5 Power Jams compared to Emerald's 30 points during their 6 Power Jams.
Clock winds down to 15-15 in this one.
Wonder Dread jamming for Emerald City against Ole Chole, number 91. Ole Chole finds an opening straight up the center, just squeeze right between her teammates Ferocious Dimples and Poison Candy, and just pops out of the pack and is lead jammer just like that. And excuse me, that's Kelly Boylan in the penalty box as jammer. How'd that happen? Kelly Boylan serving as jammer in the penalty box. I could have sworn I saw her. But Kelly Boylan now on her first pass gets knocked out by a hip from Ferocious Dimples. Am I making stuff up again?
No, I missed it too.
Ole Chole gets a grand slam on her first scoring pass. Now coming in again, runs into Amber Coop and Lady Bullseye, and somehow slides by that very stiff defense, gets all 4 points, calls it off.
Yeah, solid jamming by Ole Chole, making a strong showing today for Humboldt, especially in that second half. Emerald City's defense getting a little spread out, not able to hold it down as tight as they did in the first half here. Redwood now closing that gap, but this is the closest they've been since the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game. Score currently 174 to 115. Emerald leading, about 13 and a half minutes remaining in play.
And that is the actual Wonder Dread jamming for Emerald City for reals this time. Gunslinging Glory jamming for Humboldt at the far rear of the pack. And Rex Havoc extended way back, just at the edge of the rear engagement zone. But Wonder Dread going to the penalty box.
No, he's trying to call her back.
Okay, that's going to be an extra lap for being past the line of no return, as so to speak. But Gunslinging Glory in a pitched battle against the two-wall of Genesis of Sin and Psychotic Rage, finally getting free and clinching lead jammer for Humboldt on this grand slam. Wonder Dread now safely in the penalty box. Rex Gunslinging Glory at the front of the pack. That's a two-wall, Genesis of Sin and Rex Havoc. And then Psychotic Rage comes in, and Red Ruckus guarding the inside lane. It's Rusty Machete trying to help out her jammer and break up that wall. But a forearm penalty prevents Gunslinging Glory from calling off the jam. She did not see the penalty being called. And now it looks like she may have gotten an insubordination penalty as well.
Yeah, she was looking right at him. She needed to go immediately, per the rules, to the penalty box. It didn't quite look like she was comprehending the situation, but once she was told that she couldn't call off the jam, she needed to exit the track at the first available moment in time. This is not looking good for Humboldt. They got 2 in the box and a power jam for Emerald City's highest scoring jammer of the day, Wonder Dread.
A grand slam for Emerald City, but yes, clearly confused. Gunslinging Glory was trying to call off the jam repeatedly and just thought that her referee did not see the signal. But in fact, very unfortunate for Humboldt. They're going to give up a double power jam.
Yeah, that's definitely going to sting and put a damper in that momentum shift that I was talking about earlier. 187 though to 115 with 11 and a half minutes to play. Could go either way.
But Humboldt is in triple-digit territory. Ariel Ogden jamming on the power jam for Emerald City. Instantly two-wall forms up. Jewel Injection, Ferocious Dimples. Ferocious Dimples dropping back to bridge. And Jewel Injection runs out of room. Ariel Ogden fights her way free, gets lead jammer for Emerald City. But a couple of Humboldt blockers returning to the track, so now Humboldt at 4 blockers as Ariel Ogden's forced out of bounds by Jewel Injection, has to recycle. Now all 4 Humboldt blockers working well together in a 3+1 formation. Now a delta at the front. Rusty Machete on point for Humboldt. And she's flanked by Ferocious Dimples and Jewel Injection. They managed to stay in front of Aerial Ogden. Looks like she almost had a hole, but Rusty Machete able to fill the gap. And no leaks in that wall. But now Rusty Machete and Jewel Injection are on their own now as Ferocious Dimples has the bridge.
So Jewel Injection really killing the time during that power jam, and then she was joined, who was that? Ferocious Dimples repeatedly is the one that's getting the force outs, and then they have Rusty Machete coming in to join them, who's just holding them there, preventing that forward movement, and they're doing a great job. Humboldt's defense really stepping it up. I think they can taste the possibilities.
They're starting to feel their oats, starting to pull it together. I mean, it was remarkable the difference in the defense. Once those two blockers came back in, they instantly congealed into a solid wall, and Ogden had the fight of her life.
Yeah, they knew what the plan was. There's a game plan in place, and they're definitely executing that.
But they need a jammer on the track to do that, and now Atreyu, number 26, jamming for Humboldt against Rex Havoc, jamming for the first time for Emerald City. Running into a 3-wall, quick mover on the outside, almost gets free, but Jewel Injection stops her. But a furious fight from Rex Havoc, and she gets out. Jewel Injection getting a high block penalty. That drops Humboldt to only 3 blockers. Rex Havoc rams into the shoulder of Jennifer McMahon, who just absorbs it, knocking Rex Havoc down. But Rex Havoc does not even stop for a second. He instantly goes for it again, and this time busts free. Grand Slam for Emerald City. Atreyu, the jammer for Humboldt, at the back of the pack, and has barely even gotten into the pack. Emerald City defense just rock solid right now. But a little help from her teammates, but almost gets free. But Genesis of Sin is there. A shoulder check drives Atreyu out of bounds, and she starts over from scratch once again. Rex Havoc on yet another scoring pass. But it gets forced out of bounds by Jennifer McMahon of Humboldt and recycled all the way back. Opts to call off the jam.
You know, interesting call to jam Rex Havoc. She's one of those blockers that, you know, if she's jamming, it's great, but it means she's not blocking. Yep. So great choice, though. Of course, having put up a few natural Grand Slams, trusting her teammates to do what they needed to do. When she got forced out, she was still directing traffic from outside the track, trying to prevent that run back. Wasn't successful in that, so she calls off the jam. Puts up a good one for them, though, taking Emerald City at 2:05 to Redwood's 1:15 again, stretching their lead even further.
Yes, indeed. And Rex Havoc, always an intense and dynamic skater, no matter what position she's in. But right now, Kelly Boylan, number 96, at the front, jamming for Emerald City. But Ole Chole, super speed and acceleration around the outside, steals lead jammer away from Kelly Boylan. And some credit to the Humboldt defense as well. Rusty Machete forcing her to pay for every single inch. But there goes Ole Chole on a scoring pass, knocked to the inside immediately by Psychotic Rage. And doesn't get any points. Emerald City holds strong.
Yeah, a little bit of a failed apex attempt there, but she cleaned it up, prevented herself from re-entering the track illegally. Called that off before Emerald could draw any more blood. Emerald City coming back and kind of resolving that momentum shift that Humboldt had. At this point in the second half, Humboldt has scored 68 points, and Emerald City tying that up just about at 67. So second half, pretty evenly matched here.
Wonder Dread jamming for Emerald City once again against Pressure Cooker number 61, who's caught in a maelstrom at the back, but fights her way to the front to natural, screened off by Rusty Machete, but Aerial Ogden catching her at the front. But she picks herself back up, this time Genesis of Sin knocking her out of bounds. She has to recycle. There goes Wonder Dread through the pack on a scoring pass. Grand Slam for Emerald City. Pressure Cooker still on her initial pass. Collides with the hip of Genesis of Sin. Falls down herself. Now sandwiched by Genesis of Sin into natural as Wonder Dread, the Emerald City jammer, gets through for a second Grand Slam.
Wonder Dread now breaking the century mark in her points for the day. She's now scored 101 points, about to put up a few more, it looks like.
hustling to pick something up here.
But Pressure Cooker did complete her initial pass and is in scoring position. Not gonna get there. Well, definitely not getting there in time. 4 more for Wonder Dread.
Yeah, that puts her at 105 for the day so far. Still, with 5.5 minutes left, she'll definitely be in for another jam or two. Hey, it looks like they're putting Rex Havoc back out there. That's fun. She's certainly a crowd favorite. Former Emerald City president, currently the Big O director. And her husband's doing the house feed announcing right now. Mr. Havoc.
And somebody, number 911, jamming for Humboldt. Humboldt in the black jerseys, Emerald City in the white jerseys. Rex Havoc gets a shoulder from Jennifer McMahon that sends her out of bounds. She recovers quickly, though. Jennifer McMahon with a back block penalty. Drops Humboldt down to 2 blockers. Rex Havoc gets out, gets lead jammer. Somebody right behind her, but getting held in there by Funky Bruiser, number 222, who can't hold on, delivers a last shoulder check to remember her by, but somebody skates on, and Rex Havoc's gonna call off the jam. No points.
Yeah, she looked over her shoulder and wanted to see where that other jammer was, if she should try and eat the baby, as it were. But Spunky Bruiser swinging right behind her, trying to protect her space. Spunky very wisely let her go before she got any out of plays. So, you know, a little bit of a lost opportunity for Emerald, but they're doing well. 2:19 to 1:15. 4 minutes left in play.
Ariel Ogden jamming for Emerald City against Ole Chole. Ole Chole goes down in a pile of bodies and gets recycled back to turn 4. Ariel Ogden outraces Rusty Machete and Ferocious Dimples to get lead jammer. Ole Chole at the front, one-on-one with Psychotic Rage. Slides around the outside, but Ariel Ogden on her first scoring pass for Emerald City. Gets through and gets 4 points, calling off the jam. Ole Chole not getting around in time.
4 points awarded there. We want to remind everyone to make your way over to Bender.
Aerial strike in the penalty box for Emerald City, so there'll be a 4-3 pack advantage for Humboldt. 3 minutes left. The score, pretty wide gap there. Emerald up by a little over a century mark. Humboldt, I'm sure, just trying to get as many points out there. If I were them, I'd try and go as much bridge that gap. And Emerald City lining up in that formation that they definitely default to, 2 forward, 1 backwards, being a kickstand.
Atreus finds a tiny chink in the wall and gets through lead jammer. I believe this is the first time for Atreyu. I could be mistaken.
Second time.
Second, okay, thank you. Second time for Atreyu getting lead jammer. Zone and the Barbarian forcing her out of bounds, and now Wonder Dread completing her initial pass. Circling around, Atreyu catches her out of the corner of her eye, calls off the jam. She's going to get 2 points for Humboldt.
Nice job by Zonan. As you saw, she was started making eye contact with Atreyu on the outside line. She bridged back, but not to the full 20 feet. She had a little room to work, and she was waiting to jump back and try and pull a cut track. But of course, I've seen some skaters that leap to try and pull that cut, but when you're in the air, you're not technically in play. You're in play where you left the track. Anyway, going into this next jam, a little less than 2 minutes to play.
Kelly Boylan for Emerald City, trying to sneak up the outside, gets caught by Jewel Injection. Rusty Machete now doubling up, forcing Kelly Boylan out of bounds, and she comes back in. She comes back in poorly, gets cutting the track, but Pressure Cooker, the Humboldt jammer, also getting a penalty.
We've got a bunch of blockers out there.
Yeah, that's a cut track penalty on both jammers there, and it'll switch. And we're going to finish out this game with a 2-minute jam as the period clock will expire.
Well, I think there's actually just a couple seconds more on the period clock, right. So potentially a timeout could give us another jam. But that's only if the teams are aware of it, watching the clock. But Kelly Boylan gets around Jewel Injection. Jewel Injection getting an out-of-play penalty. And that completes Kelly Boylan's initial pass. Pressure Cooker going back to the penalty box. A high block against the Humboldt jammer. That means we're going to have a power jam. Kelly Boylan clobbered by Villain Thomas. goes to the ground. Villain Thomas gets a penalty as well. That
Yeah,
drops
give it to Genesis Osin. Why not?
Star pass, and Genesis of Sin forcing her way, just hip checks her way past Rusty Machete for a grand slam for Emerald City.
It's the only jam in this bout so far where there's actually no lead jammer that was ever given that status.
That's right, both jammers got sent to the penalty box during their initial pass. Genesis of Sin coming around for another scoring pass, runs into Rusty Machete. Makes a good effort, but Genesis of Sin to the inside, tried to catch the jammer Pressure Cooker, but Pressure Cooker able to race by, completing her initial pass. Genesis of Sin on a scoring pass, but seems to prefer defense.
Anybody? No timeouts called. That is going to be the conclusion of this game. We'll get an official score here, but I believe it would be safe to say, unless someone like me were doing the calculations, that the Emerald City Roller Girls are going to go 2 for 2 so far in the Big O. Congratulations to the Emerald City Roller Girls. I also want to thank the Redwood Rollers for coming up to the Big O and also congratulate them. They recently completed and were awarded their 501c3 nonprofit status down in Emerald City. That's a big deal for them. Thank you so much for tuning into this bout, and we'll be back at you momentarily. Emerald City taking their lap. Hometown crowd loves seeing Emerald City take the W. All right, I'm Ophelia Mellons.
I'm Bulldog.
And we'll catch you later. Thanks for tuning in.
Hello and welcome to the DerbyDees.com event desk here at the Big O in Eugene, Oregon. We are brought to you by Adam Wheels and their brand new Boom Wheels lineup that you can find at any roller derby skate shop near you. Thank you for tuning in once again to our little wrap-up show after every game that we have here on Track 1. I'm Megatron. We're joined as usual by Tini Mussolini, Just Mellons. And who are you?
Kim Jana.
What team do you skate for?
Terminal City.
Hey, we love Kim Jana. We love Terminal City.
We love you.
And it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So we're going to talk about the game that just happened right here, and then I want to talk to you guys about your game.
Okay.
In just a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about Emerald City versus Sac City. Sorry, you guys played Sac City. They played Humboldt.
Yep.
I know what's going on.
Yes, you do. It's Humboldt Rollers. Emerald City and the Humboldt Rollers have a sibling rivalry kind of going on. Every year they go down to Humboldt or they come up here. Before this game, the last time they faced off was in 2012, where Humboldt actually took the game by 2 points in the last jam. Today, that was not the story. And although Humboldt was ranked higher in the WFTDA by 6 spots or so, Flat Track Stats, based on Emerald's recent games, actually gave them this game by 86%. Well, they met and exceeded that. What was the final score on that? It was like a lot.
237 to 117.
Yeah, and the story of the game really is going to be that Emerald City put the points up in the first half. They had like 80% lead jammer in the first half, 63% lead jammer overall. When you have someone like Wonder Dread, she put up 105 points for that game. Super consistent skater. On the Humboldt side, you have longtime original gangsters, Rusty Machete and Villain Thomas, who are amazing in the pack. Anytime they were out there, they managed to really slow their roll, really helping them help with that differential. In that third quarter, if you will, of that second half, Humboldt really had a momentum shift. They brought that game up. They were outscoring Emerald City. Something happened where Emerald City started to click back in and get more comfortable and starting to match point for point after that. And with their huge lead in the first half, ended up real strong. Also pretty cool to see Rex Havoc jamming, longtime blocker, and she put up 100% lead jammer percentage there, so go Rex. Anything? Something?
I wasn't here.
I know. I didn't get it to catch much of that game. I was watching the Rattleskates take on Bridgetown on track 3.
Well, you missed a good game. The score doesn't show that. On the Humboldt side, they have this jammer named Ole Chole. She had a rough first half and came back out, and she had the highest lead jammer percentage of any of the Humboldt jammers, and she's by far their most physical jammer. So when she went up against Emerald's defense, who for every other jammer, it was locked tight, airtight walls. But when she went up, she'd be dancing and pushing, and they just fell apart, and they'd start hitting and hitting and hitting her, and that's when she found her way through, and she just destroyed Emerald City's lead jammer status alone. So she had a great game. Pressure Cooker put up 49 points, only 24 points, but great lead jammer percentage, really forcing Emerald to just go 4 points at a time and limit how much they can put on the board. So great game by Emerald City, taking home their second win of this tournament. Something happened, this being their third Big O, where they figured out how to play roller derby at the same time as hosting a giant tournament with 800 skaters here. So congratulations to Emerald City, and Humboldt, you're looking good.
Right on. On track 2, we had Terminal City taking on Sac City. This is your first game of the tournament, and how did you feel going into the game, and how do you feel now that your first game is over with?
Well, we feel pretty good. Can I look at the camera?
Either way, you can look at the camera, you can look at us.
Feeling good. It was our first game. We just got back from LA a couple weeks back, where we played 3 of the hardest games that we've ever played as a team. A lot of learning, so we came in, we're just trying to stay strong, stay focused, and yeah, we feel good. We did well in this game. We've got a big game against Ole tomorrow, and then Kansas. So yeah, we remain humble, we remain strong. We're trying to just stay together as a team.
So one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is your game against Ole, because there's been a lot said about what Ole's been going through with USARs, and now they're coming back in WFTDA. They've played Texas, and we've seen some good stuff from them, and we've seen some not so good stuff from them. So I'm very interested to see how Terminal City stacks up against the current Ole lineup.
Yeah, we've heard all that stuff as well. We're coming in we try not to think about who we're playing and just try to remember to play our game and do what it is that we've been working on. It's worked for us for the past couple years. So we just try and stay focused, not worry about the names, just worry about the game.
Let's back up 1 second to the score at the Sac City game.
Yes.
327 to Sac City 67. What did you guys expect? Is that where you thought you would be?
You know what? I don't know what this, statistically what we expected, but we played them last year at Big O. We tried not to expect anything. You never know. I mean, people lose players, gain players. You never know what it's going to be out there. So we've worked really hard at never thinking about what the game's going to be, and we come in equally as strong every time. We were a little bit scrambled in the beginning of the first half. So we came back, and no matter who we're playing, but we came back in this game and said, let's keep it together, let's slow it down, and that's what we did. And they fought. I mean, they're a very physical team.
Kansas City is about to play Philly in here. Will you guys be sitting and watching them?
We sure will.
Excellent.
Yeah, we sure will.
That win against Sac City's got to feel really good. You guys have one of the most killer schedules this year.
Yeah.
Like you just mentioned, your trip to LA. This is going to be a huge building year for you guys, especially leading into next year. How's that going? I mean, that's an overwhelmingly challenging schedule.
Yeah. Well, it is. And you know what? Spread or no spread, we did really well in LA. We did better than anticipated, but playing 3 big games like that and not winning the games psychologically can be really difficult. So we wanted to win. We wanted to feel good. We know that we did well in LA, but when you come back and you play such a challenging team, 3 challenging teams, you come back and it does feel good to get a win.
Yeah, one of the stories that we've been hearing a lot from this weekend and as the WFTDA season continues this year is the fact that point spreads are very important as it relates to the rankings calculator.
Yep.
So having 327 to 67, that's a giant point spread for you guys for this first game of the tournament.
And we're trying not to, I mean, we lost Beretta Lynch this year, who retired, and you know what? We see all the time, teams do really well and then they lose 2 key players and then they have a rotten season. We're very deep. We work hard. Everybody on our team knows how to jam. Everybody knows how to block. We're very, very deep. We're not struggling. One person can't make it, we're fine. So that's what we've been working on. We try and empower one another to try things. So that's our team. It's always been that way. Respect each other's skills and just try not to rely on 1 or 2 people. That's how we succeed.
Hey, we love the Canadians and we love Terminal City.
Yeah, we're big fans on the
Well,
podcast.
I'm floating over here. Just keep talking.
Well, we love Derby Deeds. We should call in more often, but
I know, right?
Yes.
You guys are busy. We get it. It's all
I
right.
had an interview a few years back and I said amazing 27 times, and not great, not my best.
We don't mind. It's good. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Also currently happening right now on track 3 is your team, the Rattlescapes, taking on Portland's Bridgetown Menace.
At halftime, the score was 114 for Bridgetown, 29 for the Rattlescapes. So Rattlescapes got their work cut out for them. But we kind of expected this from Bridgetown, right? They are super strong. They showed up big yesterday, and they're doing it. So.
In watching that game, I'm impressed with the Rattlescapes. There's some really pretty amazing performances, some pretty slick moves by some of your jammers. One whose name I don't want to say, but I will. Eat to poo poo. Really? What?
Him and Kamakanji are awesome jammers, right?
He's trying some stuff that I appreciate. I saw him try the same move 4 times. Didn't work. 5th time it did. Crowd erupted. I appreciate that really trying. The fans are getting into it. Arizona has some fantastic fans over there.
Yeah.
And they had a really nice little run in there. I mean, the score doesn't reflect it, but there's been some momentum changes on that track. I'm really excited to see how the second half goes.
Yep, agreed.
Everyone loves an underdog.
There were some sweet moves, I'm telling you.
We have a follow-up from earlier on track 3, the juniors game between Humboldt and Santa Cruz. The final on that game, 139 Santa Cruz, Humboldt 49. And we have a bunch of Derby left to go today. Coming up right here behind us on track 1, we've got Philly versus Kansas City, your future opponents in Kansas City.
Yes.
And I think that Terminal City versus Kansas City is probably going to be one of the best games of the entire weekend. So I'm really
We're hoping to
excited
deliver
about
on
that.
Yeah, don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, no thanks.
It's like what
Not
RuPaul says. Don't F it up.
No, we're not. We're not. We're going to be great.
So we have Philly versus Kansas City happening right now in just a few minutes behind us. Track 2, we're going to have Santa Cruz versus Lava City, their junior teams. And then over on track 3, Humboldt's juniors versus the Emerald City Junior Gems.
Oh, I gotta
so lots
announce that
more
one.
junior derby coming up. And lots of action tonight. It's
Big
going to be,
game tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be really.
Yeah, stay with us. You don't want to miss out on this stuff that's coming up.
Rose, Texas tonight at 7.
Yeah.
Right here.
Spoiler
So,
alert.
Yeah, be sure to tune in right here on the Track 1 feed for our post game and then lead up to Texas versus Ole. I'm really, really excited to talk about that. Lots of good stuff coming up. Thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure talking
and
to
on
you
behalf
guys.
of Terminal City, thanks for all the love.
Oh, of course, of course. We are here at the DerbyDeeds.com events desk at the Big O in Eugene, Oregon. We're brought to you by Adam Wheels. Thank you very much to Adam Wheels, and huge thanks to Blaze Streaming Media for making all of this happen. We would not be able to do this if it wasn't for Blaze Streaming Media, Adam Wheels, and for everybody here at Emerald City. Like, this has been a phenomenal experience for us, and we're, halfway done here?
Yep.
So thank you guys for watching, and thanks for all of the feedback on Facebook and on Twitter and directly to us. So
yeah, we'll take more feedback.
We love it. It's been a very wonderful experience making all of this happen. So thanks to you guys out there in Viewerville, Listenertown. And so from the Track 1 feed here at the Big O, I'm Megatron.
I'm Pitchett.
I'm Teeny.
And I'm Just Melons.
And I'm Kim Jana.
Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll be here after this next game.